Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, and it's my honor to introduce you to the Provost, Vice President of Academic Affairs of Cal Poly Pomona. Her name is Dr. Sylvia Alva. And before we talk about the mission of the college, I want to just broadly talk about Cal Poly Pomona. Tell us about the university for those of us that may be living in Humboldt or Imperial County. Give us a sense of Cal Poly Pomona.
Thank you. Cal Poly Pomona is part of the California State University system. There are 23 campuses in the system, and we're one of two polytechnic universities. We're in the LA Basin.
What does the Polytechnic mean?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the Polytechnic identity and approach gives greater emphasis to that learn by doing, that practical engagement of bringing the classroom to life through projects and interdisciplinary teams and competitions that our students are engaged in throughout their educational experience. So we pride ourselves in creating rich learning environments where students are engaged in that work, both in teams, but also with direct bridges and connections to industry and business and community partners that help keep the content of the discipline relevant and at the cutting edge of where fields are emerging.
And you're in Pomona, wonderful location, right on the edge of the LA, I guess, San Bernardino or Riverside County line, kind of right there. And so you can pull from so many different bright, intelligent young students and faculty as well. It's a great location.
So we're a campus of 24,000 students. We're among the most diverse campuses in the California State University system. And we're also a campus that is known for our ability to move students up the social mobility ladder. So we were recently recognized for taking students from among the lowest economic quartiles and, given their education at Cal Poly Pomona, moving them up into the top quartiles of engagement and impact.
But you also must be proud of the fact that the institution is rising very quickly in any quartile you want to discuss. I mean, the prestige of Cal Poly Pomona is hard to deny. It really has become one of the region, if not state or nation's finest institutions. You know, maybe it's a blessing, maybe it's a curse, but it's hard to get into Cal Poly Pomona. I mean, this is a competitive school with some of the best and brightest in our area.
We are very competitive, and we also have unique program niches. So we have among the largest engineering programs in the entire nation. We have a big science, technology emphasis in our curriculum. And as you know, these are all disciplines that are growing in their impact and the need for more individuals trained in the STEM disciplines. But we recognize that STEM education is not enough. The students need to be well prepared to embrace the changing world of work. And so a strong foundation in the liberal arts, in what it means to be an engaged, full member of society is very important.
And the way that you're doing that, at least one of the ways, is through a very simple motto. It's on these coffee cups. One team, one goal, student success. What does that mean to you?
You know, for us, student success is, of course, about improving the retention and graduation rates of our students, but it's much, much more than that.
Let's talk about graduation briefly and then go beyond that. You know, oftentimes it's the little things that can create obstacles, and you and your team were able to uncover a few little things that with just a little tweaking has made graduation more attainable. For example, I had no idea this graduation fee. Tell us about this graduation fee.
So this is an interesting example of what we refer to as institutional impediments.
Right, well stated.
Things that we never intended to be a barrier, but when you examine them in the context of the graduation initiative, you quickly realize that this issue can become an obstacle without intending it to have been an obstacle. And so I found, for example, that on our campus, students need to file a fee to indicate that they are getting ready to graduate.
Right.
And that fee is also used to finalize the review of their transcripts and also to help pay for the commencement exercises, the events. And so what I found in attending one of these orientation sessions that we have for seniors who are on the verge of graduating was that the students there were very reluctant to put their graduation fee on the table because they weren't sure that they were going to get the classes that they needed. So they were playing it very conservatively, waiting to decide whether or not they were really ready to graduate, because they didn't want to pay again.
Right, that was the issue.
If they didn't hit the
Right, you had to pay more than once.
Yes.
And so you created a program whereby you only pay once.
Yes, you only pay once, but more importantly, we began to look at what were the reasons that students did not graduate who had intended to graduate. And so now we're more proactive in looking at what those factors were and putting in place safeguards so that those students who indicate that they want to graduate are able to graduate.
And part of it was these high demand classes that were getting bottlenecked.
Yes.
You said it.
Yes.
And so you're starting to eliminate those bottlenecks and recognizing that we don't want these students to have to stay an extra semester for one class.
Right. So we have looked at the schedule through new analytic lenses that we have brought to these conversations and said, where is that pent-up enrollment demand for courses, and how do we ensure that we have enough sections of the courses that students need to graduate? So those courses are now in the class schedule at a time that fits with the majority of students needing those classes. So that intentionality of working through those barriers and obstacles is a very, very important part of our success story.
And you said it before, obviously graduation is important, but it's more than graduation.
It is more than graduation.
It's creating lifelong learners. It's creating folks that know how to navigate in society.
Yes.
Talk to us about how you effectuate that through this motto, one team, one goal, student success.
Yes, thank you. So when we think about student success, we really do think about it much more holistically. We think about how to prepare a student who brings skills, knowledge, and competencies to the world of work, but also a work environment that is changing dramatically. Jobs are being created that never existed before. Jobs are being eliminated. So how do we help students stay engaged, stay nimble, stay prepared for the changing world of work?
I'm so glad to hear that, because I have to say, I don't know that I received that education. You know, it was, I loved college. I loved every minute of it. But I don't know. I don't know that I really had a sense of what the workforce was going to be.
I'll tell you, we've been looking at our own successes around the graduation initiative, and our top performer in this area is our Collins College of Hospitality Management.
Who knew?
Who knew? And one of the things that when you peel that onion, you see is that from the day those students walk onto the campus to the day that they graduate, the faculty, the dean, the administration have a plan for those students of how they're going to progressively but very intentionally engage them in the world of work and profession, so that when those students reach their senior year, they're ready, and they've had this rich set of experiences that have them bridging and connecting with industry leaders and partners, so they feel very supported, but at the same time they have a clear sense of direction and engagement.
And I have a clear sense that I'm glad that I met you.
Yeah.
Because you are the Provost, Vice President of Academic Affairs at Poly Pomona. Her name is Dr. Sylvia Alva. My name is Brad Pomerance. We thank you so much for joining us on Local Edition.